Uh, okay. Log number 135, Project Promethean, Speaker Victory King. Progress log begins. It has been 2 months since I began this endeavor. It wasn't an easy task to downscale the entire internal structure of a mech into a functional suit. Ugh. But I did it. So, how hard was it really? According to my readings, Philia as an energy source responds best to human emotions. It's almost sentient in the way it behaves, identifying the human biological system and then resonating with whichever emotion is most heightened to create physical effects aligned with the intention of the person it's observing. We are talking about an intelligent form of energy that acts on human emotion. Have you ever heard of such a thing? And to think that we haven't made more use of it. I am beginning the jumpstart test to see how it functions with the new framework I made. That should do it. I took inspiration from the human cardiovascular system and the idea of chakras to make the design work. Instead of opting for one huge and unwieldy core, I decreased it and created several smaller cores and a makeshift heart of sorts. Instead of using standard PE tech cores, I have created a PE system, something that would be capable of producing the same amount of energy, but instead of storing it in one place all the time, it maintains a constant flow to prevent strain on one core. And according to the scans, everything is running smoothly, just as I predicted. I knew I could do it. Something told me to try again last night, and here we are. I struggled a lot before with understanding the makeup of the energy source, but the more time I spent observing it, the more it just seemed to connect for me. I'm still not too familiar with the thermodynamics of it, but Philia energy does appear to be quite versatile. And after a couple of experiments, I have a better understanding of how magical fighters are able to use it to access their magic, if you can even call it that. I always knew that it was bullshit, but now I can prove that nonsense doesn't exist, and it has always been science. Victory! Where are you? Of course, that also does mean Philia is volatile, and I had to make sacrifices in this project to make the suit I've made functional. So, it may not operate exactly like your standard mech. Many of the offensive capabilities that are standard to larger models had to be taken out to make up for all the changes so that it would not fry the machine. But that doesn't matter. I'm going to show Valor when he gets home tonight. Actually, I swear to God, why are you always so hard to find for someone who talks so much? Shit. Oh, he sounds pissed. Shutting down the machine now. Concluding notes. I am still ironing out the kinks in this particular suit. But once I've done that, the world is going to be introduced to the first ever unit that isn't magical fighters or mechanauts. We'll be able to better fight off smaller demons, protect people, and strategically organize defenses so that we don't have to rely so heavily on Vic. End of progress log.
There you are. I've been trying to get a hold of you. Wisdom. Is something the matter? The matter is that the head of our R&D has a meeting, and instead of preparing for it, I found you in a lab looking like a greased up monkey wrench wielding car mechanic instead of looking like a professional ready to do business with Tony Ferraro. Yes, from the Ingenious Corporation. Is that today? Yes, it is. It is in 3 hours. You aren't dressed, and you have an hour's drive ahead of you. Shit. I'm glad you see the urgency. Now get up and go get dressed. Leave this, whatever this is, alone and start moving. Oh, that is you can tell me later. You have a meeting with Tony now. I have business to attend to. And if you don't start moving, I'm going to kick your ass. No need for the violence. I'm going. Why are you being so pushy today? I'm being pushy because you're throwing off our schedule. I think that is a bit of an exaggeration. You are supposed to be ready for your meeting. I have a call with Anvil Industries. Fuck them. Focus. After my call, I need to organize our schedules for the week to manage our public media debut as a company. You are going out to a magazine interview. I have a TV spotlight to attend, and Valor, he is coming back today. Wise? There was a warning for a potential rift opening along the Gulf of Mexico. I am waiting for any word about his involvement in that. They've been getting more active recently, so I cannot say what to expect. I see. We don't know what his status is yet, so don't start pouting just yet. I was not pouting. You are. Keep your chin up. This week is going to be our company's biggest moment. We are going to finally step into the light, and part of that means that we have to get you ready to meet the man of your dreams. He is not the man of my dreams. He has been the man of your dreams since you were caught with all those magazines that had him shirtless on the cover. That was one time, but those were 11 magazines. I was 18, and Tony was in his 30s. Now he's what? 40 something? What of it? I am allowed to fantasize about whatever I please, so that does mean I am right. And Mr. Ferraro is a brilliant inventor. I love to pick his brain on the potential civilian uses of the energy core he created, which could help people that were affected by the first waves of the demon attacks. I'm sure that there are many potentials you could discuss with him. But you can do so at the meeting if you are on time. I will be there. Not with the lack of urgency you are showing. His secretary was very clear about the timing of today's meeting. If you are at least 1 second late and I have to reschedule, I will be dragging your ass to the nearest desert and burying you alive. Noted. I promise that I will blow his socks off. Good. This deal will be a great advancement in our company's standing within the mech industry, so it's imperative that you land it. No pressure, I suppose. I am only reminding you of what's at stake so that you keep in mind its importance. Of course. But if this is such a big task, then why are you not going? I am handling another engagement, remember? Anvil Industries is hardly an engagement worth having. The only reason that they've been around for this long is their money. And their money is something we can use to our advantage. It is less about getting along with them, and it's more about agreeing not to take each other out. And while I could go to meet Mr. Ferraro, I lack something that only you have. Brains? No, and fuck you. Unlike me, you have an ungodly amount of worship for that man's achievements. I do not. You do. So much that it might be an asset for you in this instance. Better yet, you actually have the intelligence to make it seem reasonably normal. I thought this was a business meeting. It can be. Or it could be your chance to profess your undying love for him. And maybe one day, both of you will be married and you will look back and thank your older brother for assigning you to this meeting. Firstly, you are not older. We are twins. Secondly, your teasing aside, I will show up, impress him, and since we have 3 hours, 2 hours and change now, we still have time. Would you like to see what I've been working on? Victor, I do not have the time. It will be quick, I promise. You have to get showered and dressed. Please. Victory Adeo King. You are going to be late and you said that you will impress Tony. You cannot do that if you are late. I will, but more importantly than that, no. Your project can wait. It's not about that. Then it can wait. Go. I go now. Alright. Remember to shake his hands properly and maintain eye contact. You want to start off with a good impression. I know, wisdom. This isn't my first meeting. No, just the first you've attended with a lot to lose. Do you remember when Baba used to drive us for ice cream near the mech base? The one in Tokyo or in Old Zandami? I'm talking about the one in Tokyo. How old were we? You are the one with the high IQ. You should remember. Wisdom. What? Humor me, please. I'm nervous. I believe we were 10 and Valor was in high school. And he had that awful buzz cut. It was horrendous. I can hardly believe he chose to do it. I always thought he was trying to impress Baba. Of course he was. He was Baba's watchdog. In his defense, we were brats. Speak for yourself. I was an angel. I thank you. No problem. I can't believe it took us this long to meet Tony Ferraro. We are a startup company, Vic. Our portfolio as a business was only so strong before we landed that contract with Ventura Corp. Now that we have expanded our operations, it makes sense that we can finally meet face to face with other players in our field. But this is Tony Ferraro. The Tony Ferraro. The man who made the Filia energy core that is in every mech to this day. It's the basis for all PE tech. I hope that all this glazing you are doing now will serve you when you both meet. I don't even know what I'm going to say when we meet. You are going to discuss a partnership between you and him to develop a joint mech design for Ventura's pilots who will be joining Battlefront. We already sent ahead a copy of all the financial plans. You just have to. I know about that, but he is a potential collaborator first, Victory. He can be your idol after. And he's a part of the Battlefront squadron with his own mech. Did you hear what I said? I did. I'm just excited. First you are nervous, now you're excited. Just be ready to speak with him. I will be. Good. I swear, I do not know how Baba dealt with you when we were younger. Just as he did when he took us on walks. He would always listen to everything I had to say. I do not think you gave him much of a choice to do otherwise. Regardless of what he did, you would just chatter on. I had many interesting things to say. Of course. It makes you such a stellar conversationalist at the galas. It is not my fault that no one at those galas knows anything about the mechanical side of our work. Is it coincidental that you know nothing about entertaining a crowd then? I cannot entertain people I cannot speak to. Besides, I leave that work in your very capable hands, brother. How generous. Any news from Valor yet? No. I assume he is on the move right now. So, he went to the rift. I do not know. I believe he's on his way back to Nuzandami as we speak. But if not, then we'll hear from him otherwise. I suppose. He's never truly out of sight. The media always make sure of that. We are lucky to see him as often as we do on the news, Victory. He does a lot for everyone, and we have to be understanding of that. I know. I just wish that he did not always have to be for everyone all the time. I miss having him around. You have me. Our business has you. I apologize, Vic, and it is a good thing that it does. I would just like it if we all had each other around. Especially today. We are here. Wish me luck. Good luck. Thank you. I'll see you after the meeting. Is something wrong? Would you like to go for ice cream later? After we visit the grave? Sure. We can make Valor pay for it for being late. You cannot take that back. Of course not. Now get in there and do your job. Yes, sir. Mr. Ferraro?
I would be him.
You're from Crown Tech, right?
Yes, sir. Victory King. But Vicky is fine. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. I read a lot about you and your folks.
Thank you.
So, what you got for me?
Excuse me?
The deal. You said your sister thinks you're qualified to talk about this stuff. Since she talks pretty good with your money, I want to hear what you got to say.
Oh, uh, in that case, would you like to get comfortable and start?
Go for it. I've seen your brother's mech. I'm impressed. Was that your design?
It was more of a collaborative venture. Since he was going to be piloting it, I wanted to craft something he felt comfortable in, rather than giving him a machine to work in. I simply took the idea he had and helped refine it into something that he could use.
That why he has a comfy seat in there?
Wisdom's touch. I was responsible for the practicality while he handled the aesthetics.
In that case, all of yous make quite the dream team. Something for me to look forward to if we work together.
I hope to give you more reasons to give us a shot.
I'm already impressed by what I've seen of your work. Vela let me touch it up during our off time, just to ensure it was running like it was meant to. Pretty setup you gave him. I was surprised when I saw it was the only mech without Anvil's pulse fire tech inside.
I opted for something that was actually useful rather than the mass-produced slop.
Mass-produced slop, you say?
Of course, what I meant to say was that we had...
You did not mean to say that. And I would rather you actually said what you meant.
I don't want to disparage Anvil Industries as a business, sir. I'm sure that even though I disagree with their business practices, they are just as capable in their work as anyone expects them to be.
In that case, you mean that they're worth shit. No need to play up anything. Most people know that they're all pieces of shit. We're just nice enough to make them think that they're not in public.
Noted.
So, what do you actually think?
Their work is shoddy at best. It has no soul.
Didn't realize that souls were the new standard for tech.
Not entirely. They do not cater to fixing problems or promoting innovation. They recreate others' work without understanding it. Even their own tech is bad. The pulse fire technology they herald is shit. Back in its earlier stages, it was naturally unstable, producing too much stress on mechs after extended use of its own weapons. That led to parts of the model shutting down mid-fight. It was an unnecessary strain on the PE core and put people in the midst of those fights in danger of being targeted. I thank whoever fixed the issue that led to it being usable nowadays.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, sir?
You said that you thanked whoever fixed it. I did.
They never credited you in their work.
I told them not to bother. I did them a favor.
I'm glad to know I'm not the only person who's fixed something of theirs.
You got some secret project you want to share?
Not quite. It's already public knowledge, just not pointed out. I managed to fix their calibrations and created an energy matrix that surrounded the entire model. It is now capable of absorbing more damage than the standard mechs produced by Anvil to this day.
You're just full of surprises. I've seen it hold up in fights. You wanna hook me up with a little something like that?
I typically reserve my additions and upgrades for my brother, but perhaps I could look at your model and see what we can do.
Sounds good to me. So, what threw you into this? You three make quite the powerhouse. Seems like you all were made for it. I just prefer being in the lab. It is weird to admit, but I just have an affinity for machines. I know how most of them work, and I have always known how to make them work better. Overall, I would rather be putting something together than tearing it apart. I like that. So, should I be worried about you outshining me if we work together? Only if you mind competition, sir. Tony's just fine. And lucky for you, I don't. Then I think you have nothing to fear. May I ask why you did it? The rework of the pulse fire tech. I was frustrated. I needed something to do at the time. I just so happened to be in the lab looking at one of their blasters. I got pissed off thinking about how buggy it was. And after I lost a friend because of it, I took it apart and fixed it. Afterwards, I handed it back to him and told him to fuck off. I'm sorry to hear about your friend. Yeah. I was torn up after Chike died. Oh. Chike Amechi? Yeah. Old pilot. He was the guy who stopped the General Archdemon back when old Zandami was still around. His mech was sponsored by Anvil, but the blaster seized at the wrong moment and he had to get desperate. Never got to know him too well because we were in different bases, but he seemed alright. Nice guy. I remember that. He was one of my heroes. I'm sure he would have loved to hear that. He did. Very often, I think. Did you know him? It would be hard not to know my own father, Mr. Ferraro. Oh, I didn't. I understand. My siblings changed their names because of the press after he died. That must have been hard. It was for a time. We had many mourners, but it became harder after the data leaks were recovered from the mech that exposed the issue. I can't imagine what that was like. How old were you? 18. And it is best not to imagine it. What I can say is that I had a similar reaction to you after the data leaks. What'd you end up doing? I locked myself in my room for days working on a mech design for my brother. I did not want him to go into the field with anything I did not trust. So I planned to make something that would protect him. I think I worried everyone because they assumed I was depressed, although I was mourning in a different way. I just didn't know what else to do. And since I had the data that was leaked, I chose to do what I could. Over the years, I refined the old design into what my brother uses now. I apologize. That must have been a lot more than what we were meant to discuss. Let us get back on track. No need. I want to work together. Really? I only come across people like you every once in a while. And I'd be an idiot to see all your potential and throw away the chance to work with someone who actually cares about what gets put into the world. That is, of course, if you don't mind working with me. I would love to. I have been following your... Sorry, I just need to take this. No worries. I will give you some time. It seems I also need to take a call. Let's not keep him waiting then. Right. Wisdom, did something happen?
Victory, there you are. Are you okay?
Of course. Why would I not be? I just sealed the deal with Mr. Ferraro.
I'm glad you're safe. You need to get back here.
What do you mean, safe?
Don't worry, just come back so we can take shelter.
What is going on?
Vic, we need to move right now.
What's happened?
A rift just opened nearby. An archdemon was sighted. We need to go.
Victory, are you there?
Yes, hold on. We're leaving now.